Greetings, Manta79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game. In today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be making one for is a premium formats, Dimension Police, Black-clad top tier Deity, Bradblack with Blitz CEO Welstra. Alright, then let's get started. And so first, let's begin with the main deck. For the main deck, we begin with the Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0s in this deck, we're playing 1. Grade 0, Little Hero Draco Kit, starting unit. Starting unit, Little Hero Draco Kit. Skill, auto, when rolled upon, draw a card. Then if your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 1 or greater, put a quick shield ticket into your hand. So for Little Hero Draco Kit, it's the starting unit to ride in this deck. It's skilled just by riding on top of it. Not only can you draw a card, but if you're the second to go to Grade 1, then you can also add a quick shield to your hand. Alright, that covers the Grade 0 lineup. And now for the Grade 1 lineup. And now for the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s in this deck, we're playing 2. Cosmic Hero, Grand Rope. 4. Eternity Chasers. And 4. Detonation Monster, Bauble Mine. The Grade 1, Cosmic Hero, Grand Rope. Its skills are, first skill, continuous as a rear guard. During your turn, if you have a Grade 3 or greater unit, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. And second skill, auto, as a Vanguard rear guard. When placed from hand, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Grade 3 from among them, put into your hand, shuffle your deck. And if you put a card into your hand, discard a card from your hand. So for Grand Rope, is a pretty powerful card to play in your Dimension Police decks. Its first skill, as long as you've got a Grade 3 unit on your field, either your Vanguard or rear guard, it gets plus 5,000 power. So more or less, Grand Rope is a guaranteed 13,000 point attacker or 13,000 point booster from the back row the moment you ride to Grade 3 as your Vanguard. And the second skill, when ridden or called from hand, you have the chance to check the top 5 cards of your deck for a Grade 3 and add it to your hand at the cost of discarding 1 card later. So this card is more or less like a Grade 3 searcher, a chance to get a Grade 3 to ride with later or to secure a specific Grade 3 you wish to use in your later game strategy. The Grade 1, Eternity Chaser. Its skills are, first skill, auto. When this unit is ridden upon, cost, discard a card from your hand. If the cost been paid, choose up to 1 Grade 3 normal unit from your hand, reveal it. If you reveal a card, search your deck for up to 1 Grade 3 of a different card name from the revealed card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Second skill, auto, from the back row rear guard circle. When your opponent's rear guard attacks, if that unit's power is 25,000 power or less, cost, Soul Blast 1 and retire this unit. If the cost been paid, choose one of your units. It cannot be hit until the end of the battle. Look at the power, including boost of and the opponent's card abilities. So for Eternity Chaser, it's another powerful card to play in your Dimension Police decks. The first skill, just by riding on top of him, by paying the cost of discarding a card and revealing a Grade 3 normal unit from your hand, you can then search your deck for a different Grade 3 than the one you revealed and add to your hand. So for this first skill, it's a good way to secure a specific or different Grade 3 from your deck by searching, which is more or less like a more powerful version of the previously mentioned Grade 1 Cosmic Hero Grand Rope. And the second skill, from the back row rear guard circle, when an opponent's rear guard of 25,000 power or less attacks, by paying the cost, your Eternity Chaser can serve as a kind of like a pseudo perfect guard against rear guard attacks of 25,000 power or less. And now, the Grade 1, Detonation Monster, Bauble Mine. Skill, auto, as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If your order zone has a set order cost, put this unit into your soul and countercharge 1. So for Bauble Mine, is it one of the more powerful cards to play in the Brandgate Nation. Its skill, as long as you've got an order zone card in the order zone, like a set order, after boosting, regardless if the attack hits or not, as long as you don't mind moving Bauble Mine from your rear guard to your soul, you get to countercharge 1. So overall, Bauble Mine is a good card to not only stock up your soul with more cards to Soul Blast with, but to also refund your Counter Blast for later skills. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 1 lineup. And now for the Grade 2 lineup. And now for the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s of this deck, we're playing 4 Endless Floats, 4 Devour of Planets, Zeal, and 4 Set Order, Heavy Strike Cannon Fortress, Freischütz. The Grade 2, Endless Float, skills for skill, auto. When this unit is ridden upon, choose one of your vanguards. It gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. Then, cost, discard a card from your hand. If the cost been paid, call this card to the rearguard circle. And then second skill, auto. As a rear guard, when this unit attacks, if your Grade 3 unit was placed this turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power and until end of battle. Then at the end of the battle, cost, retire this unit. If the cost been paid, draw a card. So for Endless Float, it's a pretty powerful Grade 2 to play in your Dimension Police decks. Its first skill, just by being ridden on top of, you can give your Vanguard plus 10,000 power. And then at the cost of discarding one card, the Endless Float that was ridden on top of will be called to the rearguard circle. So for this first skill, it's a good way to not only power up your Vanguard, but to also have another rearguard to attack with. And the second skill, when Endless Float attacks after a Grade 3 was placed in the same turn, Endless Float gets plus 5,000 power. Then at the battle, you can retire Endless Float to draw a card. So for the second skill, you can make your Endless Float into a 15,000 point attacker from the front row, and then a good card to let you restock your hand of new cards. The Grade 2, Devour of Planets, Zeal, skill, action, as a Vanguard rear guard, once per turn, cost, counterblast 1 and rest 2 rear guards. If the cost been paid, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and it gets minus 5,000 power until end of turn. And if you have a Eye of Destruction Zeal in your soul, draw a card. Second skill, auto, when ridden upon by a Grade 3, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards, it gets minus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Devour Planet's Zeal, it's a pretty powerful Dimension Police card to rise your Grade 2. Its first skill, which can be used as either as a Vanguard rear guard. As long as you have the counterblast and rear guards to pay for its cost, you can not only reduce the amount of power your opponent's Vanguard has, but also, if you manage to secure yourself a Eye of Destruction Zeal in the soul, you get to also draw a card. So for this first skill, it's a good way to weaken your opponent's Vanguard and to also restock your hand of more cards, as long as you've managed to fulfill the conditions. And the second skill, when you ride a Grade 3 on top of Devour Planets, your opponent's Vanguard gets minus 5,000 power. So like the first skill, the second skill is a good way to reduce your opponent's Vanguard's power, making it easier to land your upcoming attacks. The Grade 2, Set Order, Heavy Strike Cannon Fortress, Freischütz, skill for skill, operate, auto from the order zone. When this card is operated, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards and retire it. If you did not retire, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards. It gets minus 5,000 power until end of turn. And second skill, auto from the order zone. When your Grade 3 or greater Vanguard is placed by riding from a Grade 3 cost, put this card into your drop zone. If the cost been paid, search your deck or hand for up to one mobile Fortress of Obliteration, Freischütz maximum, and put into your order zone. If you search from your deck, shuffle your deck. If put from your hand, draw a card. So for Freischütz, it's a pretty powerful set order to play in your Brandgate and Dimension Police decks in the premium format. Is first skill, as long as you've got a card of the operation skill. By playing operate on this order card in the order zone, you have the chance to either retire your opponent's front row rear guard or to reduce their Vanguard's power by 5,000. So for this first skill, it's a good way to clear out your opponent's rear guards and to make your upcoming attacks more likely to hit your opponent. And the second skill, from the order zone, if you write a Grade 3 on top of your Grade 3, you can then retire your Freischütz from the order zone to search your hand or deck for a Freischütz maximum set order and to deploy it onto your order zone. And if you manage to secure one from your hand to play in the order zone, you get to draw a card. So for the second skill, it's a good way to not only get a more powerful version of the Freischütz order onto your order zone, but to also potentially restock your hand with an extra draw. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 2 lineup. And now for the grade 3 lineup. And now for the grade 3 lineup. For the grade 3s in this deck, we're playing 4 grade 3s, Black-clad top tier Deity, Bradblack. 4 grade 3, Blitz CEO, Welstra. And 3 grade 3, set order, Mobile Fortress of Obliteration, Freischütz Maximum. The grade 3, Black-clad top tier Deity, Bradblack. Its skills: for skill, action as a Vanguard, once per turn. Cost, counterblast 1. If the cost been paid, 3 units in your front row get plus 10,000 power until end of turn. Second skill, auto as a Vanguard. At the end of the battle it attacked, look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 grade 3 from among them, put into your hand, and shuffle your deck. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost, discard 2 cards from your hand. If the cost been paid, write a grade 3 not named Black-clad top tier Deity Bradblack from your hand as stand, and that unit gets plus 10,000 power and -1 drive until end of turn. So for Bradblack, it's one of the main grade 3s to run this deck. Its first skill: by paying the mere cost of counterblast 1, all units in your front row, Vanguard and rearguard included, get plus 10,000 power. So for this first skill, it's a good way to empower your front row for more successful attacks in the battle phase. And the second skill: after attacking, you have the chance to check the top 7 cards of your deck for a grade 3 to add to your hand. And then, after adding the card to your hand, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can also pay an additional cost of discarding 2 cards from your hand. If that cost is paid, you have the chance to superior write a grade 3 not named Bradblack from your hand onto your Vanguard circle with an extra 10,000 power, but at the cost of minusing your Vanguard's drive by 1. So for the second skill, it's not only a good way to secure more grade 3s in your hand, but to also pressure your opponent with another Vanguard attack with an extra 10,000 power, but at the cost of losing 1 drive. The grade 3, Blitz CEO Welstra. Skills: for skill, auto as a Vanguard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, choose one of your products in your order zone and operate it. Activate its operate ability. Second skill, auto as a Vanguard. When one of your products is operated, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Welstra, it's one of the other main grade 3s around this deck. Its first skill: just by attacking your opponent's Vanguard, you can operate 1 product in your order zone and activate its operate skill. So for this first skill, as long as you've got a set order in your order zone that's considered a product, you can operate it and activate its skill for no unnecessary cost, since your Vanguard only has to attack the Vanguard to activate the product's operation skill. And second skill, auto as a Vanguard. When one of your products is operated, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for the second skill, it works well with the first skill. Just by operating a product in your order zone, your Vanguard Welstra will get plus 5,000 power. And the best part is, this second skill is stackable. If you play multiple cards of the operate ability and they let you operate cards in your order zone, you'll be able to keep stacking 5,000 power into your Vanguard Welstra for every time you operate your cards in the order zone with. The grade 3, set order, Mobile Fortress of Obliteration, Freischütz Maximum. Skills: for skill, continuous, you cannot play this card. Second skill, operate, auto from the order zone. When this card is operated, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Then choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and it gets minus 5,000 power until end of turn. Then cost, counterblast 1 and return a rear guard to hand. If the cost is paid, call this card as a 23,000 power, 1 critical normal unit to an open rearguard circle. If you call the card, put that unit into the order zone at the end of the turn. So for Freischütz Maximum, is a powerful set order to play in your Brandgate decks and Dimension Police decks in the premium format. Its skill: just by operating it from the order zone, you can not only retire your opponent's rear guard in the front row, but to also reduce your opponent's Vanguard's power by 5,000. And then by paying the additional cost of counterblast 1, returning one of your own rear guards to hand, you have the chance to move your Freischütz Maximum from the order zone to the rear guard as a 23,000 power attacker for the front row. So for Freischütz Maximum, it's a very powerful order card to play to not only retire your opponent's rear guards, reduce the power of your opponent's Vanguard, but to also have another attacker ready to pressure, or possibly finish off your opponent with. And with that, we just about covered the deck's grade 3 lineup. Now for the trigger lineup. And now for the trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we're playing 1. Grade 0, Star Dragon, Deity of Infinitude, Elder Breath, over trigger. 4. Grade 0, Impurity Monster, Dabruber, critical trigger. 3. Grade 0, Quake Being, Namazoro, critical trigger. 4. Grade 0, Diamond Ace, draw trigger, Sentinel, perfect guard. And 4. Grade 3, Ultimate Salvation combination, Aiden Bullion, heal trigger. The grade 0, Star Dragon of Infinitude, Elder Breath, over trigger. Its skill, trigger, additional effect, double the power and critical of all front row units until the end of the turn. Increase to double its power and critical when activated. So for Elder Breath, it's the over trigger for the Bradblack Nation, and like any other over trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When revealed doing a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw a card, but it also features an ability unique to itself alone. When revealed during a drive check on your turn, you can double the power and critical of all front row units, both Vanguard and Rearguard included. So for this over trigger, it's a very powerful card to play in your Dimension Police decks in the premium format. For if you're fortunate enough to reveal it during a drive check on your turn, you can double the power and critical of your front row units, both your Vanguard and Rearguard, increasing the possibility of either pressuring or even finishing off your opponent. The grade 0, Impurity Monster Dabruber, critical trigger, skill, continuous, from hand, while paying for the cost of strike. This card may be discarded as a grade 3. So for Dabruber, it's more or less like a strike fodder to pay for your strike costs. For you will not have to pay a large number of cards or to give up a grade 3 in your hand. For this critical trigger as another optional card to pay for your strike costs. The grade 0, Quake Being, Namazoro, skill, auto as a rear guard, generation break 1. When your Vanguard attacks, cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost him hate, draw a card, and one of your Vanguards gets plus 10,000 power until end of battle. So for Namazoro, it's a pretty powerful critical trigger to play in your Dimension Police decks. Its skill, just by having your Vanguard attack, as long as you don't mind moving Namazoro from your rear guard to your soul, not only can you draw a card, but your Vanguard gets plus 10,000 power. So for this critical trigger, it's a very powerful card to not only restock your soul, increase your hand size, but to also increase your Vanguard's chances of hitting your opponent by increasing its power. The grade 0, Diamond Ace, draw trigger, Sentinel, perfect guard. Its skill, first skill, continuous, Sentinel, second skill, auto as a Guardian. When placed on the Guardian circle, cost, discard a card from your hand if the cost is paid, and one of your units cannot be hit until the end of the battle. So for Diamond Ace, it's one of the perfect guards, draw triggers for the Dimension Police decks. Like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When used to guard with and discarding a card from your hand, you can block one enemy attack. So for Diamond Ace, it's a pretty powerful perfect guard to play in your Dimension Police decks, especially since it's a draw trigger, a trigger unit. So unlike most perfect guards that are grade 1 like normal units, by having a draw trigger perfect guard like Diamond Ace in your deck, the normal amount of space you put in your grade 1 lineup for perfect guards can be then used for either cards you wish to use for your later game strategy, offensive or defensively wise. The grade 3, Ultimate Salvation combination, Adam Bullion, heal trigger, heal Guardian. Skill, for skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the Guardian circle from hand, if you do not ride a grade 3 or greater until this unit in this fight, perform one of the following. First, choose one of your vanguards and it gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. Second skill, choose one of your opponent's units. It gets -2 critical until end of battle. So for this first skill, it's a very powerful defensive skill for your Dimension Police decks. Just by guarding it before you get the chance to ride the grade 3, you have the chance to either give an additional 10,000 power to guard with or to reduce your opponent's critical by 2. So the first skill of Adam Bullion is a defensive skill that stops your opponent from rushing you too early. The first one to stop your opponent from rushing you with a large number of front row attacks by giving your Vanguard some extra power to work with. And the second ability is to reduce a powerful attacking unit's critical, thus potentially reducing the amount of cards you have in your damage zone when hit by opponent's attack. And the second skill, Auto, when this unit is placed on the rear guard circle from hand, if your damage zone is 0 cards, put the top card of your deck into the damage zone. So for the second skill of Adam Bullion, it's another powerful skill to play in your Dimension Police decks. This second skill is more or less like a counter strategy for the damage denial strategy. The damage denial strategy is when an opponent avoids attacking your Vanguard early on to prevent you from having any counterblasts to pay for your skills. For this second skill, just by calling Adam Bullion, you'll be able to place the top card of your deck into the damage zone, securing yourself 1 counterblast at least to work with to use your skills with, and to also break the damage denial strategy your opponent will try to use on you. And with that, we just about covered the deck's trigger lineup. For the triggers of this deck, we're playing 1 over trigger, 7 critical triggers, 4 draw triggers, and 4 heal triggers. And also with the trigger lineup done, we've finished explaining the main deck's build. So now let's get on to the G units. And now for the G zone. For the cards in the G zone, we're starting with the G units. For the G units of this deck, we have 2 Cosmo Winger, Unibird Galaxy, 4 Strongest Command Chief, Final Dimex, DX, 4 Heatwave Beast, Geoma Glass, and 2 Dark Superhuman, Omega. The grade 4 G unit, Cosmo Winger, Unibird Galaxy. Its skills are, the first skill, as a Vanguard, this unit gets plus 10,000 power for each card in total among your damage zone and rear guards. So as long as you don't mind having a lot of cards in your damage zone and manage to secure a bunch of rear guards, Unibird Galaxy can make a very high power Vanguard by getting plus 10,000 power for each card in your damage zone and rear guards. And the best part is the plus 10,000 is stackable, so the more rear guards and damage cards you have, the more power you can add to him. And the second skill of Unibird Galaxy, Burst, as a Vanguard, once per turn. When this unit attacks, you may turn a card from your G zone face up. If the cost isn't paid, then if this attacking unit's power is 50,000 or more, it gets plus 1 critical until the end of the battle. And if the attacking unit's power is 100,000 or more, it gets plus 2 drive. So overall, it makes Unibird Galaxy a very powerful Vanguard. Since the first skill lets you stack huge amounts of power, the second skill will benefit from him since you can get plus 1 critical and have a total of 5 drive checks, making Unibird Galaxy a very great G unit to have if you wish to focus everything on the Vanguard. The grade 4 G unit, Strongest Command Chief, Final Dimex DX. Its skill is, as a Vanguard, when it attacks, you may turn a card from your G zone face up and place all of your rested rear guards into the soul. If the cost has been paid, reveal 7 cards from the top of your deck and call up to the same number of cards as the number of face-up cards in your G zone to the rear guard circles in order of highest power to lowest. After that, shuffle your deck. And then, if the number of cards you place in your soul for this unit's cost was 4 or more, then all of your units, Vanguard and Rear Guard, will get plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical until the end of the turn. So with Final Dimex DX, it's a good way to give yourself more attacks after you attack with rear guards, you can then place them to the soul. Then using Final Dynamics DX's skill, you can superior call new rear guards to attack with. And then, as long as you manage to place a large number of cards into your soul for this unit's cost, your Vanguard and all of your newly called rear guards will get plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical, making Final Dynamics DX a good card to have if you wish to rush your opponent with a larger number of attacks. The Grade 4 G Unit, Heatwave Beast, Geoma Glass. Its skills are: the first skill, as a Vanguard or in the G zone, if face up, all of your Grade 3 rear guards and guardians get plus 5,000 power, plus 5,000 shield, and intercept. So if you're the type who likes to play a lot of Grade 3s in your deck, if you call them onto the rear guard circle, they get plus 5,000 power, plus 5,000 shield and intercept. And in the guardian circle is to get the plus 5,000 shield. So overall, your Grade 3 rear guards in the front row can give you a huge boost in power and defensive ability, as long as you manage to strike Geoma Glass your first G unit, or if you use another skill to flip and face them in the G zone, making Geoma Glass a great card to have in either the Vanguard or G zone for decks that specialize in having a large number of Grade 3s. And the second skill of Geoma Glass, as a Vanguard, when this unit attacks, you may counterblast 1 and turn a card from your G zone face up. If the cost has been paid, look at the top 7 cards of your deck and call 2 cards among them to the rear guard circle, shuffle your deck, and this unit gets plus 1 critical until the end of battle for each of your Grade 3 units. So like the first skill, it specializes having a bunch of Grade 3s. As long as you don't mind counterblasting 1, as long as you flip over the top 7 cards of your deck and call 2 new rear guards upon them, you can get a 2 new set of rear guards to attack. At the same time, your Vanguard gets a huge amount of critical for each Grade 3 in your field, so Geoma Glass himself will have a better chance of finishing off your opponent, but also you have an extra attack or 2 up on your way to your finish off your opponent. The Grade 4 G Unit, Dark Superhuman Omega. When placed on the Vanguard circle, you may counterblast 2 and soul blast 1. If the cost has been paid, choose one of your rear guards and place it into your soul. Then choose all of your units on the opponent's front row and reduce their power by the original power of the rear guard that was placed into your Vanguard soul for this unit's cost. So for Dark Superhuman Omega, as long as you don't mind paying its hefty cost, depending on what rear guard you place into your soul by this unit's cost, you can reduce all of your opponent's front row units' power by that unit's power, so making it a good way to give your Vanguard and all of your rear guards a better shot of finishing off your opponent, or at least striking a decent number of damage. And with that, we just about finished the deck's the G units. So next, let's get on to the G Guardians. And now for the G Guardians. For the G Guardians of this deck, we have 2 Giant Armored Beast Garagamelgos and 2 Great Galactic Beast Zeal. The Grade 4 G Guardian Giant Armored Beast Garagamelgos. Its skill is, when placed on the Guardian Circle, you may Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, then choose up to 2 Grade 3 normal units from your drop zone and place into your hand. And then, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield until the end of the battle for each card placed in your hand by this unit's skill. So, as long as you've managed to secure a decent number of Grade 3 normal units in your drop zone, Garagamelgos can at most serve as a 25,000 point shield on his own, making him a very powerful defensive unit if you don't have that many cards to guard with. The Grade 4 G Guardian Great Galactic Beast Zeal. Its skill is, when placed on the Guardian Circle, you may Soul Blast 1. If the cost has been paid, then you can choose one of your opponent's units and it gets minus 5,000 power until the end of the battle. And then, if the number of cards in your damage zone is more than your opponent's, you may Counterblast 1, then choose one of your own Vanguards and it gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the turn. So overall, Great Galactic Beast is a good way to reduce one of your opponent's attacking unit's power, as well as giving your Vanguard a little extra power, making this a great defensive card for the entire turn during your opponent's battle phase. As long as you don't mind Soul Blasting 1 and Counter Blasting 1 and having more damage than your opponent, then this card will be a great card to have for your Dimension Police decks. And with that, we just about covered the deck's G Guardian lineup. And now, after having just explained the deck's build and card effects, let's get on to explaining the deck's main playstyle. So for the main playstyle of this deck, first you just normally ride from grade 0 to 1, 2, and 3. So make sure the first grade 3 to ride in this deck is a Black-clad top tier Deity, Bradblack, using Imaginary Gift, Force 2. And then like usual, just fill out your field of rear guards. And then if you have the opportunity to stride, make sure the G unit you first stride is a Geoma Glass. Then when it's time to go to the battle phase, you attack with Geoma Glass. Use its skill to flip over another card in your G zone. So just flip over another copy of Geoma Glass in your G zone face up. Then on your next turn, when it's time to attack again, this time make sure you secure a grade 2 set order Freischütz in your hand to play in the order zone. And also make sure you have a grade 3 Blitz CEO Welstra in your hand. And so when it's time to go to the battle phase, you attack with your Bradblack, then use its skill to superior write a new grade 3 from your hand, superior write Blitz CEO Welstra. And since you wrote a grade 3 on top of a grade 3 with Bradblack's skill, you can activate Freischutz's skill from the order zone to retire itself, and then to deploy the grade 3 Freischütz maximum order to the order zone over here. And then simply attack with a rear guard, and then attack with your Vanguard Welstra. Then using Welstra's skill, you can operate your Freischütz maximum from the order zone, retire an opponent's rear guard, reduce their Vanguard's power, and then return the recently attacking rear guard back to your hand, and then the superior call Freischütz maximum from your order zone to your rear guard, and then just then continue attacking like normal. So yep, that's pretty much the main playstyle of this deck. First you hold on, reset everything. So first you ride Bradblack as your first grade 3. Then for the first G unit you strike Geoma Glass. And then using Geoma Glass skill to flip another Geoma Glass face up onto your G zone. And then your next turn, use Bradblack's secure a grade 2 Freischütz in your order zone. Then when attacking, then your battle phase, when attacking, use Bradblack's skill then to superior write Blitz CEO Welstra from your hand. And then activate Freischütz's skill to retire itself, deploy the grade 3 Freischütz maximum. And then just attack again like normal with a rear guard first, then with your Welstra Vanguard, using Welstra's skill to activate the Freischütz maximum skill to retire an opponent's rear guard, weaken their Vanguard, and then to superior call Freischütz maximum. And then just having another attack to work with. And also the best part is, since if you've listened to my advice of striding and flipping over Geoma Glass in the G zone, for Geoma Glass's skill, as you know from face up in the G zone, all grade 3 rear guards and guardian gets plus 5,000 shield and 5,000 power, and this effect is stackable. So that means your grade 3 Freischütz maximum, the rear guard, will get the benefits of Geoma Glass, which is with 2 face up in the G zone, it gets plus 10,000 power with its own 23,000 power, total 33,000 power. So yep, with that, that's pretty much the main playstyle of this deck. You ride Bradblack, strike Geoma Glass, flip another one face up, then next turn, set the grade 2 set order, superior write Welstra, use its skill to deploy Freischütz maximum, and then just go for the motions to operate, return a rear guard to hand, superior call Freischütz maximum, and then with the skills of Geoma Glass in the G zone, your attacking Freischütz maximum will have more power to work with. So that's the main strategy of this deck. Pretty much just attacking multiple times and reducing your opponent's Vanguard's power, and to also use the order cards to secure yourself another attacker with Freischütz maximum. Alright, we just about covered the deck's main playstyle, so next up. And now, after having just explained the deck's build and card effects, and also explained the deck's main playstyle, we've pretty much covered everything in this deck. So first up, I want to say thank you to the viewers watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that I say goodbye and see you all soon.